it ain't worth it. It ain't worth it at all. Oh boy, coach. This is gonna be a bad time.
It's quite dark. I don't know if I'll be able to edit this and make my face brighter because the background's so bright.
5 days out? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5? Ooh. Good morning, guys. Today I thought I'd take you through what I'm doing 5 days out from my powerlifting competition. I woke up this morning at 192.2 pounds, which is fantastic because that means I'm only 7 pounds away from my weigh-in and I can do a water cut to go in. And my coach, he's a little bit like, Claire, you don't need to make this weight class. But look, man, it's my last hurrah at under 84 kilos, and next year, yes, I will be in the 100 kilo weight class. I'll show you what I'm doing for my water cut, what I'm eating throughout the day, and my lifting today. First things first, I'm starving. I'm gonna have like a chobani flip thing, and then I'm gonna do some work, and then I'll make like a proper breakfast later. So this is what I'm having first up today. It was on sale. Breakfast time. I'm gonna have 4 eggs, a tiny spray of that, which I don't track because it is like a trace bit of fat. I'm gonna have 200 grams of pumpkin. This is frozen, so that's why it looks a little bit strange. And I don't have spinach, but I got chopped lettuce, so this is gonna work. I know 4 eggs seems like a lot, but I'm the hungriest in the morning, so the extra fat really helps me get through the day. And that is breakfast. I'll put the macros up on the screen. And now we eat the food. Pumpkin, egg, vegetables. You can't go wrong. It's so good. I don't get tired of this one. Sometimes I don't feel like a protein shake. So this is banana, mashed banana, 40 grams of my protein powder, some mixed cinnamon and spices. It's like a pumpkin spice mix that I made. So it's like cinnamon, clove, nutmeg, ginger, super good. And then I've got a little bit of baking soda and baking powder, like just a little choo-choo and a choo-choo, and then it's done. So I'm gonna add some milk, I'm gonna microwave it and turn it to like a protein kind of cake sort of situation. I just added enough of this so that it was a thicker consistency. And then I'll microwave it for a minute. I checked it and then I put it back in for another about 30 seconds. I'm gonna add a little bit of this sugar-free apple cinnamon flavored syrup. This is kind of the texture that's going on. Like it's a bit cakey, but it's still soft in the middle because there's no egg in it, because it's not good when it's like super dry. So I will eat this. Woo. Okay, so I just had that protein cake snack, and now I want to show you the other general snacks that I'll have throughout the day that are super low calorie, if not 0 calorie. So I always have beetroot in the fridge. I used to hate beetroot. I didn't understand it. It was very Australian, and it took a while for me to get used to. There is something to be said for exposure to foods that you don't like. If you constantly, this is great for kids as well. If you're constantly given a food, it's put in front of you, the more exposure to that food, eventually you'll pick it up, you'll try it, you'll be like, I don't really like it. And then again and again and again, and eventually you'll be like, oh, it's all right. And now I like it. Now I don't really like having beetroot on a burger, but I'm not gonna be like, ew, beetroot like I used to be, and I like pick it out and everything. Beetroot has also been shown to be really good for performance, like strength output, that kind of stuff. I'm always snacking on beetroot throughout the day. The other thing that I always have is these little baby tomatoes. Same thing, I used to hate tomatoes, and now I just always have these little things to snack on. I don't track them, I just have a couple here and there to stop me from eating things like bickies and dip. Other go-to is some cottage cheese. I have just a low-fat cottage cheese. I'm not having that too much right now because it has quite high sodium per serving. It's got 400 milligrams or 368, which is a little bit higher than I need at the moment, but that is a really good choice if you want low-fat, low-carb, high-protein options. Of course, apples. We got bananas down there. I've got my yogurt stash here. Oh, and then of course, don't forget, I always have sugar-free Jell-O available. This is so good. It is something that you can binge on, and it's 0 calories. I'll show you here's my stash that I just keep stocked up in the pantry. So low sugar, here's the macros, 1 gram of protein, 0, 0, 0, 0, blah, blah, blah. So I make up the whole box and I'll just have that in the fridge ready to go, and I have a bunch of flavors right next to my sugar-free maple syrups. So I always have the 0-calorie Jell-O in the fridge, especially right now. These have been helping a lot. Now, I don't really condone lots of soft drink. Like, I don't really like soft drink, to be honest. But having something sweet and calorie-free in the fridge has been really helping me to hit carb cravings. So there's the macros there. There's pretty much nothing in it. And I just have like a glass whenever I'm really craving carbs. And we also have the 0 sugar Coke, which is also 0 calories. Yes, they do have artificial sweeteners in them, but if it's this or not making my weight class, I'm gonna choose this. So those are my current go-to snacks. I'm going to get some pre-workout sorted just for some extra energy, and I'm going to head to the gym. So let's do that. Oh, and the other thing I should tell you, this thing on my lip, if you were wondering, I got the worst sunburn I've had in years from hiking without sunscreen like a dingus, and I ended up blistering my lips. So please ignore this random thing on my lip. That's just what happens when you're stupid and you don't wear sunscreen. Welcome to the workout, guys. I thought I would record a voiceover while I'm just driving home and take you through what I did. All I had to do today was work on singles and practice openers and whatnot. So I was supposed to do both squats and bench, but my back is a little bit tight from yesterday. So I thought it was best to just do my bench today, give it a rest for squats, because the last thing I want to do is blow everything out, hurt my back right before the powerlifting competition. My back is definitely sensitive to stress, so when I'm under too much stress, it just starts to really tighten up, and it can give me a lot of SI pain if I push it too hard. So I'm always very mindful of that, and I definitely listen to my body and rest when I need to. So you'll see starting off this workout that I started out with just foam rolling and really just trying to get the movement in my back. I'm more so focused on recovery. Also, before this workout, I did go to the sauna, which is why I'm like kind of drenched in sweat. I went to a different gym to go to a sauna, which I was gonna work out there, but their equipment was pretty crap. So then I came back to my normal gym. Yeah, so starting out, I did some just stretching and foam rolling. And then I moved into my activation exercises, which before I do bench, what do you call it? Like banded rear delt situation. I'll write it on the screen somewhere. And then I do the bottoms up kettlebell press, which really helps my shoulders, which I used to have really weak, unstable shoulders, and this has definitely helped improve my shoulder stability. Okay, so for bench, I always start out with bar only and just get my body in the right position, feel the movement of the bar. Then I jump up to 60 kilos, 80 kilos. I did a set at 90, and then I had to do one single at 102.5, which I'm really proud of, because in competition, I believe my personal best is only 101, and this 102.5, even though it was a little bit quick because I was mostly in my head, it's definitely there for comp day. So I can't wait to do that, and maybe, just maybe, even push a 105. That would be pretty sweet. And then I just had to do some back off sets, 5 sets of 2 at 90 kilos, pretty easy peasy, and everything was moving really well. I wish I could have done squats, but you know, sometimes you just have to put your body first. Ooh. Hello, Claire. Okay, so that's it. That's my entire workout. I hope you guys enjoyed watching it. I'll take you home now, show you my foods. See you guys in a bit. It's always so friggin' awkward saying bye when I'm like not going anywhere. I'm still here and you're there. Okay, bye. I'm just gonna quickly show you what my lunch and dinner for today is. It's really not that exciting. I'm just doing chicken and veggies. I have pre-cooked chicken with a little bit of Dijon mustard because it's quite low sodium, and broccoli, of course. And then I have some leftover sauteed chicken from last night, which I'm just going to use a little bit of for some extra flavor, because heaven help me, it is so bland and boring. So this is the chicken and broccoli, and this is the leftover sauteed chicken, which I'll have just a little bit of that on top of this to give it a bit more flavor. To need extra volume, I also have the Calorie Clever rice, which is 0 calories. It's made of like konjac flour. I don't know what that is. Some Asian thing. The texture is quite weird. It's kind of gummy and strange. It's really good if you need extra volume. So that's all my foods for today. I had the eggs for breakfast, the yogurt, had like some beetroot and some tomatoes for snacks. I have the chicken and veggies for both lunch and dinner. If I need extra anything, you know, I've got like my sugar-free soft drink or my sugar-free Jello, which goes a long way in helping me. This is what I've done for 6 days out for my powerlifting competition. If you want to see more of my workouts, I usually put everything that I do up on Instagram. See you guys soon. Okay, bye. As you guys know, over the weekend I competed in my latest powerlifting competition. This time my coach had me do a sodium load as well as a water load to make my weight class. I really wanted to put together one definitive video on water loading, sodium loading, and how to make weight for your weight class, specifically for 2-hour weigh-ins. I scoured the internet and I could barely find anything specific to powerlifters or strength athletes for water and sodium loading. So, the literature that I've read has said that you can lose between 5 to 8% of your body mass safely for acute weight loss, like in a short period of time, without hindering your performance. From my experience over the weekend, I lost 5% of my body mass. Realistically, I lost most of it the day before through the water loss and through sweat loss. And I can 100% conclude that it definitely impacted my strength on the day. I couldn't complete any of the deadlifts I had set myself out to do. I could barely do deadlifts that I had done in training, and my body was so tired and so cooked from the sodium and water loading that I didn't even finish my third deadlift. I just called it quits and we finished for the day, and I was perfectly happy with that because my body was so exhausted. What I did was a water load and a sodium load for about 5 days leading up to the day before. I cut those down really low and then fasted for 16 hours before my weigh-in at 9 a.m. the next day. I would say you can safely lose 1 to 3% of your body mass through water loading alone. I did find a paper that said if you lost above 3% of your body mass through water loading or water loss, that would definitely impact your strength or performance for whatever activity that you're doing. So how you go about a water load is you set yourself your maximum intake, which is going to be about 100 milliliters per kilogram of body weight. Let's say I was pretty much 90 kilos. I was consuming at my max intake 9 liters of water. I'll put it up on the screen here, but 6 days out, you're going to do 60% of your total intake. 5 days out and 4 days out, you have 80% of your total intake. 3 days out and 2 days out, you have 100%. That's the 9 liters of your total intake of water. And then on that last day before your weigh-in, you have 20% of your total intake, and then you stop 16 hours before your weigh-in. That alone, that process alone, should help you lose 1 to 3% of your total body weight, because what it's doing is by overloading all this water, you're telling your kidneys to excrete water. You're down-regulating hormones involved in your water and electrolyte balance. So your kidneys are going to be just constantly excreting. You're going to be peeing every 2 hours. By overloading your body with water, you're excreting all this excess water. You suddenly halt your water intake on that final day, and your body continues to excrete all that water. The hormones have a delayed response to you stopping your water intake. So they'll kick back in the next day, but in the meantime, in that 16 hours, you're going to continue to pee, hopefully. Everybody's response to this is different. So how long it takes for your hormones to be like, hey, wait a second, we're not getting water anymore, and to start conserving itself, that's entirely dependent on you. But for the most part, you should be able to lose 1 to 3% of your body weight through this process. The risks involved with water loading is if you have too much and you dilute the sodium in your body to be too low, you can end up at risk of hyponatremia, which is where your sodium levels in your body are too low, and it can put your heart at some serious risk. So that's why maximum 100 milliliters per kilogram of body weight of water per day. That should keep you safe, and also having no more than 1 liter per hour. Now, if you need to lose more than 1 to 3% of your body weight, because I needed to lose 5% of my body weight, the next thing you can do is the sodium loading. Now, the literature that I found on sodium loading says that it can help with a further 1% loss of body weight. However, I think this is entirely dependent on how you respond to sodium, how much sodium you've been having previously. I don't think it helped me. I might have done it wrong, and I can try it again a different way next time. I think something that impacted my sodium load was the fact that I was having fairly low sodium before going into the water load. So I was having about 1,500 milligrams, and then we did it quite quick. I think we have to fine tune it a bit to see if it can impact my body differently, but I'll just explain what little research I found on the matter of sodium loading, and then you can give it a try and see if it helps you at all for your water cut. Pretty much the idea behind sodium loading is that by having a huge intake of sodium, you're telling your body to excrete more sodium. And as it excretes more sodium, it also follows with a further excretion of water in order to maintain a consistent amount of sodium to water balance in your body. Pretty much what you want to do here is have like 4,000 to 6,000 milligrams of sodium per day for 5 or 6 days leading up to your competition, and then you dramatically drop it the day before. So an example of this would be 3 to 6 days out, you do the 5,000 milligrams of sodium, and then 2 days out, you'll do less than 1,000 milligrams, and 1 day out, less than 1,000 milligrams. Now, the thing you have to be careful with is, of course, having your sodium too low as an athlete can severely impact your performance. I personally know if I have less than 1,000 milligrams of salt in a day, my muscles will start cramping up at night. I'll have a horrible sleep, and it's just not a good time. As an athlete, you need sodium. The less amount of time that you have to go on low sodium, the better. So I would say 5,000 milligrams of salt for 5 or 6 days beforehand. On that last day, keep it at 500 milligrams of salt, and then fasting 16 hours before, go into your weigh-in 9 a.m. And hopefully that should lead to a further 1% loss in body weight. There are 3 other avenues you can go for to try to help with a further reduction in your body weight. And when I say this, I mean acutely. Everything that I'm talking about is acute weight loss. This is not maintainable weight loss. This is not something that should be done long term. This is just for a specific event on a specific day, and you move on. Fiber. If you decrease your fiber super low, so less than 10 grams per day, you will reduce the amount of contents in your GI tract, which the less that you have in your gut, the less water is also stored in your gut. From about 5 days out, I went to less than 10 grams of fiber per day, and that supposedly can help for another 1.5% reduction in your body weight. The next one is glycogen depletion. Glycogen holds water. So if you were to acutely drop your carbohydrates on the days leading up to your competition, you can probably get another 2%, maybe 3% of your body weight off. But I did not touch this one. I'm already on super low carbs. It's just my body type. I'm already having about 100 to 150 grams max of carbs per day. And honestly, if you're doing a 2-hour weigh-in, you shouldn't be messing with glycogen anyways, or carbohydrates anyways, because you really need those stores to help you perform on the day. If you have a longer time between when you have to perform and your weigh-in, then maybe glycogen depletion would work for you because you have longer times to replenish those glycogen stores. But if you're weighing in and then you have to compete in less than 2 hours, don't touch glycogen. You need that to do your thing. And then the last one is sweating. I think this is where I went completely wrong, is the water loading didn't work, the sodium loading didn't work, and then I had from 4 p.m. the day before to 9 a.m. the day of to lose 9 pounds. I ended up having to take 4 or 5 baths. I just did them in 20-minute intervals, and I sweated out those 9 pounds, and the risk that comes with that, which is exactly what happened, is getting severely dehydrated. The difference between the water loading and just sweating in general to lose fluid is that when you excrete water through urine, you're mostly excreting water. When you excrete fluid through sweat, you're excreting a large amount of salt, and you need the salt to perform. So that electrolyte loss in the sweating dramatically hindered my performance on the day of my competition. I would say use sweating as a last resort to make your weight. But saying that, I've had to do it every time I've ever done a water cut. So, like I said, trial and error. You're never gonna know how your body responds to these acute weight loss methods until you give it a go. But just as long as you do it safely and listen to your body, like if you feel like your heart is pumping out of your chest and you're feeling dizzy and sick, like just stop. Just stop. Think about your life choices. Is it worth it? Is it actually worth it? It's not. It's really not. This brings me to, you've weighed in. Now you need to rehydrate. You need to figure out how to get as much of those electrolytes and fluid back into your body as fast as possible so that your body can recover and perform to the best that it can when it needs to. Immediately post weigh-in, you're going to consume 600 to 1 liter of fluid containing sodium, potassium, and glucose. not just water by itself. If you were to consume water by itself, all you're doing is giving your body more things to excrete. The combination of the sodium, glucose, and the potassium all in one go is going to help your body retain what you're trying to refeed it. You need to sip on it and not gulp it. And this is something that my coach kept telling me to do, but after drinking 9 liters of water a day, it was like not possible for me to sip things. I would just gulp them. So that probably didn't make me feel very good either. There was a point when I was trying to put my belt on for squats that I felt like I was gonna barf. Again, trial and error, maybe listen to your coach and sip on the water, Claire, and don't just chug it. And then all you're doing from there is really trying to get as much energy into your body as you can without feeling sick. So you want really low fiber foods with a high glycemic index. So this is things like gummies, fruit. I had dried fruit, and you just want to be having salty snacks. I even had a stock cube at one point to try to get a lot of salt into my body in one go. It was 800 milligrams of salt. Great. I had lots of Powerade. I had a Powerade powder, which was glucose and electrolytes. Perfect. Bananas for potassium. Of course, we had a little bit of junk food like cookies, but you know, be careful with the junk food, because after dieting and then dehydrating yourself, going straight into junk food can definitely upset your stomach hardcore. So, you know, I'm just gonna keep referring back to listen to your body, trial and error. It's okay to learn from your mistakes. I have learned so much from my mistakes over the weekend. My number one thing that I've learned is you will not see this girl cutting into a weight class, at least in the next year. Not gonna happen. I'd much rather get hella strong, feel 120% amazing on the day, and lift 3 PBs than be dehydrating myself and struggling to pick up something that I do for reps in training. All that being said, here's a little comp summary for you. For my squats, first attempt squat, my legs are cramping, my body feels like shit. I do the thing, it works, it's fine, great. Second attempt squats. Oh man, I step under the bar and the cramps ripple through my knees. Like, the cramps are so bad. I'm like, how am I gonna get through the rest of the competition? This just keeps getting worse. Between every single attempt, I'm just eating, salt, glucose, water, electrolytes, go, go, go. Third attempt squats. I pick up somebody else's belt. I then proceed to really believe that this is my belt and that I have consumed so much food and water that I don't fit my own belt anymore. So I'm like, oh man, what's wrong? I'm just gonna try to shove this thing on. It's gonna be fine. Then I look down and I'm like, oh my God, this is actually not my belt. And thank God I'm not actually that fat that I can't fit into my belt anymore. So I didn't have time. The timer was on, so I just had to leave it unclipped and do my squat anyways. And I got an in-comp PB, which was great. Bench, I just matched my previous one, 101 kilos. I had done 102.5 in training. That's fine. Okay, but at this point, my body was so tired. I was so done with lifting. I just wanted to go to sleep. And then deadlifts, we were doing the warm-up sets in the back. I picked up 140 kilos and it felt like 200 kilos and I was gonna die. And I was like, oh boy, coach, this is gonna be a bad time. And so I went out there, 160 kilos for my first attempt. And then I was like, coach, I think I'm done. I don't think I want to do this anymore. And he's like, just go do 167, you know, just do one more. And if it still feels terrible, we'll call it. I went out there, I couldn't even pick up the 167. My body said no to 167. All in all, I learned my lesson hardcore. I learned so much, and now I understand the concepts of the water loading and the sodium loading and how to get into your weight class quickly, but at the same time, it ain't worth it. It ain't worth it at all. Anywho, that's it for this video, guys. I hope you guys learned something from this. I hope this helped one of my fellow lifting ladies out there. Girls, let's just go get in the weight class above us, because that's where we can be hella strong. You're only competing against yourself. Don't know how many times my coach has told me that, but I was too stubborn to listen to him until now. So, and you're probably gonna be too stubborn to listen to me as well, and you're probably still gonna wanna cut down to that weight class just to prove that you can do it. And you know what? That's okay, because you're gonna learn a lot from it. and good luck to you. All right, I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.